How confident are you online? Well, this is what we're going to be talking about today. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert, working with families in educational institutions and companies, helping them with their well-being. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I'm super excited to be interviewing Rob. Hi, Rob. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jasmine. I'm excited to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes, I'm the founder of a company called Growth Habit, and I help purpose-driven coaches and consultants grow their impact and grow their businesses.
Wow, that sounds very, very interesting. And you chose this title today, The Confidence to Show As Yourself Online. Can you tell us a bit about that and what made you choose it?
I was looking at what you do, and I was looking at the themes in your messaging, and I saw you talk about confidence in a few different places.
Yeah.
And a big part of what I help people do is align their messaging and the way they show up online so that they attract dream clients, people they absolutely love to serve. And one of the things that stops people, holds people up, scares people away is the fear or the lack of confidence to get started. So I thought, well, Jasmine talks a lot about confidence, and I help people show up in a way online that they feel proud of, that it grows their business. I felt like it was a good sandbox intersection for us to chat about.
Amazing. I'm so excited as well. And I've had so many people message me and say, oh, really looking forward to this live, because I think you hit the nail on the head. So many people worry about what other people are thinking of them. So where do we begin? Like, what do we do?
Well, let's chat. Let's honor that, I think. And then we can go into how you might unpack that or how you might change that. Because before we hit record here, you and I were just chatting about LinkedIn and how great it is and some of the magic that happens, or some of the people we've met through it. And I'm older than I look. I'm older than most people guess. My eldest is about to turn 18. I'm way closer. At this point, I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40. Like I'm further along in my years than people. So like I had businesses and got clients on MySpace, on Instagram, on Facebook, and LinkedIn is older than all of those. And LinkedIn is even older than MySpace. This is something that people don't realize. Yes, it launched before MySpace.
Wow.
So it's old. It's been around for a long time. It's also why the interface can feel kind of clunky sometimes. However, the community here is powerful and people are incredible. And it's partly due to there's a forcing you to be on your better behavior, because it is tied to how you provide for your family. It's tied to how you pay your bills. And if you're an employee, it's very directly tied to, if you act like an asshat online, your boss, your coworkers are going to see what you're saying and doing. And if you run your own business, well, it's the same thing, your prospective clients and the people who might be considering working with you. So there's this additional layer of pressure that maybe doesn't exist elsewhere. So there's incredible opportunity, but then the pressure can maybe feel a little higher.
You're right. I feel like what you're saying is like people have boundaries on LinkedIn. There's boundaries, unspoken boundaries. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Well, you could have a fake name on LinkedIn, but it wouldn't kind of last long. And if someone doesn't have a picture, versus on these other sites, people just create fake accounts all the time and say whatever, and there's no repercussions. It's not connected to anything that they do in the real world in any way. So that's part of it. And then I think the other thing too is it requires being brave. If we think about historically, if we think back of being in tribes, if we think back even like the kind of schooling we grew up in, you show up on time, you line up when the bell rings, you sit at your workstation, you have to put up your hand and ask permission if you need to go use the toilet. You like follow orders, memorize, repeat. So it wasn't really rewarding to standing out and to being different and to attracting additional attention to yourself. But I made the comment about tribes. It's the same thing. Like if we go back hundreds of years and we're roaming as a tribe, if I say something that offends everyone, if I wrong the tribe and I'm ostracized, I'm going to die. Like I will be left to the tigers and the bears and the wolves or whatever. So it's ingrained in us quite deeply. So I understand the fear, but it doesn't mean that it's not worth trying to overcome.
That's really interesting. So what do you mean? It's ingrained in us to really fit in, not stand out, just blend in, not be seen. actually.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the zebras, the patterns on zebras, it's to make them all blend in. It's not
Yeah.
to make them stand out. And there's a study where they were researching zebras and they were trying to track a particular zebra, but they always kept losing them in the herd. So they're like, we'll just go put a red X on that one. So we know that's the one that we're calling Sam. We'll see who Sam interacts with. We'll see where Sam goes. And the moment that they put a red X on it, that zebra got killed quickly because the animals that were preying on the zebras were able to say, like, cool, we're targeting that one. Versus otherwise, they're just all camouflage and blending in with each other.
Wow, that makes absolute sense. Let me just say, hi, Jabeen, how are you? Can I have a recording of the session? Yes, of course you can. This session is being recorded. We will post a link. And by the way, welcome to everybody else who's joining. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the chat and we will get back to you very soon. That's very interesting, Rob. I didn't actually think about that. So basically, it's ingrained in us to survive, to blend in.
To blend in, and that's the way that we got by. That's the way that we didn't get in trouble at school. That's the way that we got the approval, of others.
Yeah. So it sounds like to go against that, we really, really have to do some deep inner work.
Big time. And that's okay. This is a great transition. I love how this is flowing because when talking about this, I'll normally start by talking about a marketing trope that's overused all the time, which is that for people to want to work with you, they need to know, like, and trust you. If you want clients to hire you, they need to know, like, and trust you. The challenge with that is it's putting all the emphasis externally and trying to get other people to know, like, and trust you.
Oh my God,
And
yes.
do you actually know, like, and trust yourself? And I mean genuinely, like, do you know who you are? Do you know what's truly important to you? If push comes to shove, like, what are your true priorities? And if you say it's family, are you acting like it? Do your behaviors match what you're saying? Do you like who you are? Do you look in the mirror and like who you are, even if you have a few more wrinkles than you used to, even if your hair isn't quite the same as it was before, even if the old jeans don't fit you like they previously did? And do you trust yourself? Meaning that if you say you're going to do something, that you follow through, that you keep your word. And if you don't have this inner knowing, liking, and trusting of yourself, good luck trying to get it externally. That's always going to feel out of alignment. That's always going to feel scary. That's always going to feel wrong and gross and unattainable.
I absolutely love what you're saying. And I can't actually believe it's actually so obvious when you think about it, but I've never actually thought about it like that. And I remember, like, during my journey of, working for myself and everything, and everyone said to me, you need to be liked, known and trusted, whatever. But you're absolutely right. It's about like, knowing and trusting yourself. I cannot believe that, because it is inside out, because then you start attracting things. Mahmood says this is so useful. Thank you so much, Mahmood. Yeah, wow, Rob. Yeah, that's really something.
I'm glad to hear that that's powerful for you. And thanks, Mahmood. I appreciate you sharing that back. And yeah, I just think about what truly makes someone attractive. And it is confidence. And because we all know people who are not meeting the stereotype of what society says is attractive, and there's something about them. They're like, wow, there's something about that person. I feel drawn to them. And there's also plenty of examples of people who meet the stereotypical definitions of what is considered attractive, but are miserable inside. And there's something like repulsive about being around them. And it's because they hate themselves. Internally, they don't like themselves. And confidence is one of the most attractive traits. So, but to have that, you need to know who the heck you are. You need to like who you are. And you need to trust that you're going to keep your word to yourself. And then you dial that in, and people just like being around you. People want to spend time with you. People want to work with you.
Oh yeah, no, that, I mean, yeah, 1000%. And the reason I said about working on yourself, because for me, yeah, ever since I started working on myself, that's when you work on the inside and the outside changes, and you don't really know why. You do know why, but yeah, it's everything from the outside. No, that's so interesting. And yeah, you just made me connect some dots.
Yay. Well, what's fun for me is because I have all these frameworks. I have all these strategies. I have all these things that I teach people as far as with their messaging and how to create offers and how to do enrollment in a way that feels aligned and all this stuff. And clients either come in having their inner belief in themselves, feeling they're worthy enough, their confidence dialed to a pretty decent state. And then we can kind of jump right into that. And then they'll surprisingly, somewhere along the journey, find a deeper level. They're like, oh, it goes even deeper than I realized. Or there's people that come in, they'll say that they want to grow the business stuff, but there's all this personal stuff in the way. And for them, we'll start with that. We'll start with what they're truly thinking, what's blocking them, what's in the way, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's only once we get through that, then we can get to the strategies. Because like otherwise people don't do it. They don't stick. They won't put themselves out there. They won't try the things that they know that work. They won't push their edge. I've got a sticker here on my laptop, and it's kind of a saying in my community, which is do bold shit. Do bold shit that scares you. But people, you won't do that. You won't do that if you don't have that inner dialed in that we were just talking about, the knowing, liking, and trusting yourself.
No, I love that. So the first step is working on yourself. Before you work on the strategy, it's work on yourself. But do you think, so you 100% need a strategy then? I know that might sound a stupid question, but yeah, it's not enough just to work on yourself.
No, it's and the funny thing is seeing people who have like one and not the other. And it's so funny, like they'll have like one piece, you clear on who you are, but if you look, if you don't have a strategy, you can make it work. It's just going to take you way longer. You're going to make a lot more unnecessary face plants. And because people will talk about what you need is repetitions. You need reps, and it works whether you're trying to get better at yoga or whether you're trying to get better at getting your message out or whether you're trying to get better on enrollment calls or dating, like practice. But works way better than just doing repetitions, is repetitions with feedback. Repetitions with someone who's outside who can see what you're doing and say like, what if you tried it this way? Or here's, if you hit these 3 things, I know that that's going to increase your success rate. So you can do it without a strategy. It'll just take you way longer. And if you don't have the money and you have all sorts of time, then go for it. You don't need a strategy. But if you have a strategy, you can reduce your time and have way less mistakes and kind of shorten your pain time.
Sure. And you were saying about so having your I've just lost my train of thought. I'll come back to that. Let me just come to some questions. So I think this is Tim. Tim, is that you? Smiling helps. Being positive and consistent is important. Integrity. Say what you mean and mean what you say. It creates authenticity.
I like that a lot. That's say what you mean and mean what you say. That's alignment. That's, we talk about authenticity, and the word is used so much that I think people lose track of what the heck it actually means. To me, the word authenticity means that what you're saying and doing matches up what you're thinking and feeling.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because we've all been in some situation where there's someone and they're saying the right thing, but we feel off about them and something's not right. It's because internally they're thinking and feeling something different to what the words they're saying. And we can't put our finger on it, but something is off.
Something is off, exactly. And I think the more you work on yourself as well, the more, the stronger your intuition is. Do you believe that? Because, And Mahmood says, unfortunately, most people tend to moan and complain to get attention, which is wrong, very wrong. I like the topic. Confidence is key. Sometimes even pretending to be confident is much more useful than moaning. Thank you, Mahmood. Yeah, what do you think about that? Fake it until you make it.
That's a tough one. Well, look, if the choice is moaning or faking it till I'm making it, I'm on board with this fully. And then for me, it's funny because moaning about moaning is also moaning. So I'm not going to moan much about moaning. It really is. But for sure, there's an energy around it, because the moaning is, there's no way for me to fix this. I have no choice. It's a bit victim mentality. It's just versus if you're willing to put the moan aside, and then maybe it's not fake it till you make it. Dan Sullivan. Let me quote him and see if I can not mess this up. Dan Sullivan is a really great coach. He's an older gentleman. He's written a lot of books, and it's fun for me because as I get further and further on this path, and I find all sorts of people that I feel are doing incredible work, and I find mentors, I find that if they didn't work with Dan Sullivan directly, their mentors worked with him. And he's got this great thing about confidence. And unfortunately, people, if you're trying to fake it till you make it, or you're waiting until you feel confident to start, you don't start. And instead, he says you need to have courage. There's 4 C's. First C is courage. Have the courage to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try this. I'm going to make an attempt. I'm going to step up to bat. I'm going to have my shot. And then you
Yeah.
need commitment. The second C,
Yeah.
commitment that you're actually going to do it. You're going to show up every day. You're going to keep practicing. You're going to put the time in, get the feedback, do the reps. And then if you have the courage and the commitment, then you will get capabilities. Then you'll actually become decent at what you're doing.
Yes.
And then once you have the capability, the courage, the confidence shows up. You only feel confident once you're good at it. But you're only good at it if you're showing up. And you're only showing up if you're committed to it. And you only start committing to it if you have the courage to start.
Yes.
So this faking it till you make it, or thinking you'll only start when you have confidence, is a little ass backwards. And I'm going to have the courage to do this. I know it's going to suck. I'm not going to be great. I'm going to commit to doing it. If I commit to doing enough times, I'm going to get decent at it. I'll have the capabilities. Then I'll feel confident.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And also at the same time, working on yourself emotionally. Because for me, I think that's what's been the biggest one. Well, I guess it's just another factor, but working on myself emotionally has really helped, me just overcome lots of challenges and think that I'm actually worthy of doing anything, because I feel like you have to have that belief deep down, don't you?
The belief, I think it's the belief that you're going to be okay. The belief that if you make a mistake, you're not a terrible person. The belief that you're allowed to make mistakes. The belief that you can do something and have it be messy. So that's where the inner work on yourself pays off, because you get to a place where you can judge yourself less and give yourself permission to show up and have messy attempts.
Exactly. This is what I mean. So we're all kind of, there's quite a few things that come to play to be confident. And especially online, do you think? Or do you think it's just the same? It doesn't matter if it's online or in person? Because sometimes people are more confident online than they are in person. So how is it connected to being confident online, do you think? Is it harder or not?
Depends on the way you view it. Some people find online a little easier because they're not seeing the reaction in person. They're not seeing the feedback. They're not seeing the facial expressions. Keyboard courage is also why people tend to talk a lot of smack in comments on certain websites, because they feel kind of safe and a bit distant from it.
Yeah.
Versus, if I say something and you don't like it, I don't have to see the look of disappointment on your face. But if I say it in person, there's no way to avoid the look of disappointment on your face. For some people, it's that way. For some people, it's a flip, though, is the lack of feedback, or it's like, oh, but if I publish it, I don't know who's going to see it, or that might live forever. And there's a different kind of fear that can come up. So it depends on the person. I don't want to say one is easier than the other. They're just different.
Yeah. And how do you, so is there anything else? I mean, you've said a lot already, but to be confident online, like what is the first step? Is it just working on yourself, like you said, or is there something else?
There's other things too, for sure. What I love to help people do is to kind of do an audit of the things that they are passionate about, the things that they can easily rant about, the things that they openly share in private conversations with friends, with clients, with people that they already have that connection with. And what are the things that the stories, the ideas, the rants, the things that they share with those people that makes those people like them, love them, appreciate them. And then it's like, cool, how do we start sharing some of that?
Right. Okay. So something that you're comfortable with. I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? And I think maybe people might be scared online as well, because at the same time, it's especially on LinkedIn, you're representing yourself. Like you are on your own, aren't you? It's not like you can hide with somebody. It's like, this is you. I think that might be kind of scary for some people. I know for me, when I first started, I was like, it's just me. If I do something wrong, it's me. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think
well, it's one of the difficulties of going from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. Because if you're an employee, then it could be the team, you can blame your boss, it was the distributor, there's the client didn't get the thing to you in time. And then once you become an entrepreneur, that's gone away. So it's just you. So upside, you get all the reward. If you work harder, it's directly for you. You can choose who your clients are. You can choose who your coworkers are. You have way more control. But the downside is full accountability. It is on you. So it's an opportunity to truly make your own path, but you have to be also willing to carry the responsibility that comes with it.
Definitely. And were you ever, because I know you're really confident online and you're amazing at what you do. Was there ever a time when you were really scared when you first went online, and how did you overcome it?
Mhm. Oh, we can go deep here.
Yeah,
We can go really deep here.
let's go deep. Yeah.
10 years ago,
Okay.
I still drank, and I would drink frequently and drink into the point where I blacked out, and drink to the point where I'd get
Really?
into awkward, difficult, embarrassing situations where I put myself in harm's way, where I embarrassed people that were close to me. And that's because I hated myself. I didn't like who I saw in the mirror, because I wasn't a
Yes.
person of my word, because I didn't truly know who I was. And I had unprocessed trauma from childhood. I had unresolved crap in my relationship with my dad. So I've been through a lot, and
Yes.
I've been through some dark periods of my life. And it's just, you talked about like doing the inner work, and it's an ongoing thing. There's something you said before too that connects to this. Is there's a leadership weekend thing I did 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and they talked about leadership and showing up as the leader you want to be. And they had all this stuff about leadership on their messaging and website. But if I was to describe it to you now after having attended, and it was absolutely transformative for me, but if I was to describe it to you now, the quickest, easiest way I could describe it to you is crying with strangers. Crying with strangers for 3 days. But if they led
Oh,
with that,
yeah.
ain't no one signing up. There's no one who would go to that at all. No way. But
Yeah.
the transformation that happened through that definitely made me a better parent, partner, human, leader.
And it's funny, isn't it? Like, do you think it's more transformative because it's with strangers as well?
Yeah, I think, well, that connects back to the fear of kind of showing up online. It's interesting.
Yeah.
That's again one of those
Yeah.
double-edged swords, because for some people it's, I don't know anyone here. It can't get back to my friends, my coworkers, my family, my clients, my whatever. So there's a certain safety. But for some
Yeah.
people that's debilitating. The idea that like, ooh, I don't know who these people are and if they're gonna judge me or not. But just the environment there was created that there's interactive activities and then games and then little challenges, and the questions get a little deeper, and then before you know it, you're unearthing all your crap and facing all sorts of fears, and really
Wow.
like the mirror is being held and there's nowhere to hide.
Wow. No, thank you so much for sharing that, Rob. That's really, no, yeah, no, thank you. And actually, it reminds me of something similar. When I did my coach training, it was a bit like that, in front of like 22 people, just feeling in front of them was my biggest nightmare. My heart was beating the whole time. I hated it. It was awful. But sometimes you just know this is the only way through it. I've just got to get through this. The answer's on the other side. But so yeah, I sort of understand what you mean with strangers, how terrifying it can be. Actually,
Yeah,
I was
big
terrified.
big time
Yeah.
terrifying. Actually, you sharing that's making me realize too. You're asking like, if I've ever not been confident. I seem really confident in the way I share and show up online, and it really comes back to what I was sharing at the beginning. It's because I don't care if some people don't like me. Actually, I know there's some people
Yeah.
who don't. I guarantee there's people that like, oh, Rob's smiling again. Oh, what's he doing now? Like, I'm just not everyone's cup of tea, and we're not
Yeah.
meant to be. And there's almost 1 billion people on LinkedIn, and that comes because I know who I am, and I know what's important to me, and I know how I show up as a father, and I know what my values are, and I keep my promises. So it's okay if some people don't like me, and that's
Yeah.
a big part of how I'm able to just express myself so openly online.
No, brilliant. And I think, like you said about before, about liking yourself, when you like yourself, it really doesn't matter if other people don't, because you're not trying to seek something that you're missing. You already have that. So you're already whole and complete. So you're not seeking it from elsewhere.
Anytime you encounter someone who is being rude to a stranger, losing their mind in traffic, being a prick to a server, like, if you're able to sit that person and ask them a bunch of questions, if you're able to get below, it's always that they don't like who they are. It's always that they're mad at themselves. It's always that they feel some level of guilt, of
Yes.
shame. It's always that they are
Yes.
being incredibly hard on themselves internally, and most of the time not even realizing it.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Good post, Mustafa says. And I think this is Tim again. Having the courage to show vulnerability is key, and being prepared to meet someone in their comfort zone is a great place to start. Trust first, and confidence will emerge.
That's cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. Kerry says, so hard to even imagine you that way, Rob. You shine so much light now.
Thank you, Carrie. Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot of it's in my book, and I've shared a lot in my book as far as some of my trials and tribulations and me going through these periods of hating myself and hating what I've done, and like I've been suicidal, like I've been to the edge of the darkest
Yeah,
of dark
yeah, yeah,
possible
yes, yes.
places, and I'm able to shine now because of that journey.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. And I do sort of believe somehow that when you've been through really painful challenges, I just feel like it becomes your purpose to, I feel like you have an edge. When you go through something like that, I feel like you have an edge. If you can overcome it, there's something, I don't know, there's power in that. I really do believe that. David says, hi, David, how are you doing? It feels like both Jazz and Rob have shared that they found their confidence by dealing with their personal issues. Is that fair? Recovery from addiction gave me more confidence. Yeah, David is a recovering alcoholic as well.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
definitely. Yeah, it's the truth. That's definitely, I would say that is true. What you're gathering from this, David, is bang on for me.
Me too, 100%. Because I think that's the hardest thing you can overcome. When you overcome that, then it's like, who cares about other things?
Yep.
And hi, Tom, how are you doing? Great content. And Monica says, I've seen Rob transform and I'm working on mine with Rob now. He has been there and done that.
Amazing. What's fun about that comment from Monica is her and I first met at a digital marketing agency 8 years ago, maybe longer. And so she's seen a past version of me. She's seen me evolving, and it's been fun because now I'm seeing her evolve too. And I'm lucky enough to have a front row seat to some of the big changes she's making.
Amazing, amazing. And that's really special as well, because I think a lot of the times when we go through these transformations and evolve, we do lose friends, don't we? We have to sort of, it changes. Our friends, some friends change, but the ones that stay, that's really special because not many people, yeah.
Okay, so now that sound was because I'm on my third career. Career number one was DJ, music producer, running record labels, a lot of time in nightclubs, at raves, traveling, very unhealthy lifestyle. And that was part of this old me that I despised. I really did not like.
Really?
When I announced that I was retiring from DJing, when I said I was moving on, and I made a big Facebook post about it, and it got tons of likes and comments, there's someone who wrote, "You can't retire. That's who you are." Like projecting like to them, I was this person, and I just like, I was not allowed to change.
Yes, yes, because it forces them to, it's about them, isn't it? It's always about them.
Yep. Yep. They're forced to have to look at stuff, because if I'm saying I'm moving on, this is no longer for me, and the lifestyle doesn't suit me and I need different things, and it forces other people to do their own inventory, and it's uncomfortable. So
yeah, it's making them change something. We don't want to change. I mean, we want to change, but it's hard to,
we want the rewards that the change brings, but we don't want to do the hard work of the changing.
Exactly. Right, we're running out of time, but Rob, this has been amazing. I could talk to you for another hour, but thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you want to say, and how can people find you?
There's nothing else I want to say. I don't want to be like, and go buy my thing now. Like, there's nothing I want to plug.
But your book sounds pretty amazing.
Okay, that's worthwhile. If there's something worth plugging. So my book's called Die Before They Do. It's available on Amazon, which means it's available in so many countries around the world, and it's got 35 or 45-star reviews, and it's a collection of stories of my journey of overcoming and facing so many things, from where I started to where I am now, and my battle with alcohol and all sorts of other things. And it's an inspiring tale that if what we're sharing here resonates with you, I feel genuine in saying that I think you will dig the book. And then as far as where to find me, LinkedIn is my main place online. I do moonlight a little bit on Instagram. Jasmine and I were chatting before we hit record here or went live that my favorite part of Instagram is on the stories. So I'm more active there if I like posting stories because the behind the scenes element. But LinkedIn is where I spend most of my time and where the biggest part of my community is. So message me, reach out, connect with me there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Rob. So I think the whole message today is work on yourself.
Work on yourself. Yes. What's fun about this is that we went so deep on that, we didn't really touch on the why should you want to start showing up online? What are the benefits of starting to show up online? And I'll say this, I think we're at a time and space now that a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, it's you need to have an online presence. You need to have an online brand. You need to, it's going to be like in the 90s when I think it was Bill Gates said that, there's going to be a time in the future where there's either the businesses have a website or they don't exist. Like, I really do think we're at that place. The ability for you to find like-minded people that you absolutely love spending time with, who, whether you're still in the employee mindset and it's about finding jobs where you truly feel at home, or if you have a business like Jasmine and I do, and you want to find clients that don't feel like clients, that can become friends, where the values are so aligned, where you're like, oh my God, pinch me. How do I get to do this as my job?
Manifesting.
That comes from you showing up online and you being willing to share who you genuinely are as a human online, and it unlocks all that. So I just want to make sure that we plugged in like why you might want to really consider showing up and truly sharing who you are online.
Brilliant. No, thank you so much, Rob. And we'll have to do another live next year or something. I can't believe this year's nearly finished. But thank you so much, Rob. Thank you, everybody, for your amazing comments and questions. If you have any more comments, questions, please write them on the post or email or message Rob or myself directly. And see you next week.